Hello, everyone. Welcome to Secrets of Saltmarsh. This is one of our 2 Patreon Greyhawk campaigns starring the Ghosts of Saltmarsh cast. I will be your DM and host for today's game. Shout out to all of our Patreons, some of which are here on the screen. Thank you to all of our Patreons. Because of you, everything that we do here is possible. We have a really awesome all-Asian cast Monster of the Week game coming up, and it is especially possible because of your generosity. Thank you so much. If you want to find out what you can get for being a Patreon, you can check out that link there in the chat. We also have a YouTube. You can find all the previous episodes of our game and other games over there on our YouTube channel, link in chat. Or if you would like to interact with this game, there are several ways you can do so. You can redeem channel points for free to grant a blessing, which is an advantage die or a reroll to the player of your choice. Or if you'd like to add an element of fate to the narrative, every $10 guarantees a draw from the deck of many things to the player of your choice. Let's jump into it. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you, what you've been up to, and who you're playing. And we'll start off with Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma, also known as Emma Panada. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Emma Panada. On Twitch, we have a couple of D&D games going. On Twitter, I largely just shitpost and troll my friends. I'm also writing a TTRPG called All the Witches. You can find information about that at allthewitches_ on Twitter. And I'll be announcing the Kickstarter date in a little under a month, which is exciting and terrifying. But it's all Gucci. It's real exciting. And yeah, please keep an eye out. I play Arlen Rufaloth. She is a Triton cleric / warlock who is largely, well, she has been pretending to be this very accomplished adventurer and kind of leading people astray based on all of this past experience she doesn't actually have. But then in the process of all this, she has become, I feel like, a pretty notable adventurer, but also has been dealing and making deals with some dark magics and a bunch of stuff going on. You know how it be.
Yeah, just like normal adventurer stuff. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Thank you so much. Next, we have GeekDice.
Hey, I'm GeekDice. You can find me here. I'm not on any of the socials. I think we're going to be back here in a couple days again this week. Yes?
No, not this week. So we are playing
week.
right now as a makeup game because we will not be here this week, but the week after next week, so the 20th, I believe.
That's right. So I'm playing KayBee. He is a Fenadiri, or a house spirit, like a brownie. He is a wizard, an artificer, well-traveled, and a handyman of all crafts. He's fallen in with this group, and he is following these great adventurers on towards amazing things. Each one is a leader in their own right. And most notably, our fearless Captain Arlen. KayBee believes she can do no wrong.
Awesome. Thank you. Next, we have GodfatherWraith.
Hey, I'm GodfatherWraith, _ESG. You can call me GodfatherWraith, GFW. Pretty much anything you want except late for dinner. So yeah, I'm playing Garen Frank Wern. He's just former scout in the Craddock and Royal Military. He's just really good at making things dead.
It's true. There have been quite a few times where we are in an encounter and I'm like, yeah, this will get them. This is dangerous. and then Godfather just rolls a few times and I'm like, never mind. You're good.
Yeah, I won't forget the time Garen took like 2/3 of that crocodile's health. What was it, 10,000 teeth?
Yep.
Gosh,
Yep.
That was crazy.
That was wild. All right. Thank you. Next, we have Endicarus.
Hi there, I'm John, aka Endicarus, on just about every platform on the internet. You can find me here only on this stream, so I'm happy to be here tonight. It's been a little while. And I play Pole of Ammonfort. He's a young human male who comes from the rough streets of the big city of Ammonfort. He's out in Saltmarsh right now for his first big adventure, and he is way out of his depth, but he's happy to have these companions and leaders who will carry him along, for better or worse. And so far, there's been lots of ups and downs, so I'm sure we're going to see a little bit more of that today.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Zombie.
Hello, I'm Jacob. I'm Zombie. I am Z, and whatever the few names you have to call me, I am the lore keeper, and Captain G is a good ship clip. I probably do too many clips, but that's up to your own discretion. Today I'll be playing Finn Carson, who is a ranger researcher who has lots of troubles with undead, and right now is very angry at one certain wizard. I don't know why I went to go to say vampire, but wizard.
Taking notes suddenly.
Suddenly. Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at ZombieFighter89. You will see a bunch of retweets of Kirby, D&D stuff, and various things that I do for Stella or promotions that Stella does, and I retweet it. I'll go into more of what I do later on in our post game. But yeah, and I'm also current tournament winner for Tilda Break.
Yes. Dance little Pokemon. Okay, so just as a real quick recap of what has been going on. Essentially, last episode, we had made it back to Saltmarsh, and we essentially started to party a bit. You had been enlisted by the Mariners Guild to check out Abbey Isle and to go investigate what is going on there. They hope to establish a new lighthouse on this island, but it had gone under a number of questionable things, and it has a long history of violence, and anyone that the Mariners Guild has sent has been unsuccessful in their return. So, they've looked to you, this group of very competent adventurers that is building quite a reputation here in sleepy Saltmarsh. The council are still busy, currently communing with the lizard folk ambassadors. So you know it's going to be some time before there is word or development on what to do about the potential war brewing in the background. So for now, you have various distractions, various roads that you can take. But people need help, and they've sought you out to help you. Sought you out to help them. Maybe help you. We'll see. But we'll open up with a scene, just a real quick recap of Finn essentially was kidnapped by the wizard again. You managed to break Finn out. You managed to ransack Kelladek's home, and you went away with a few items. Arlen okay, like, listen, I had to look at the VOD, and Arlen melted the imp into jelly with an inflict wounds. So that happened. Farron gave Arlen some sea kelp to help others breathe underwater for 30 minutes. You have 5 doses of that. And KayBee had seen a very interesting person at the bar. As soon as you had gone in, someone was slipping out, and you noticed that they were wearing a long red scarf. But there were too many things going on, and you did not pursue them. Maybe you'll see them again. Maybe you won't.
I like red.
It's a nice color. All right, we're going to open up with Pole. You are so hungover. Well, you wake to the scent of the sea and water lapping at your feet. You feel the soft pillow of sand beneath you, and it's everywhere. You feel quite cool with the water lapping at your feet, and your head is ringing. You hear a gentle voice stirring you awake, and it almost sounds like Penny, but it's far, far away. Pole, wake up! Wake up, Pole!
Penny? Penny, well, oh. Where's Penny?
As you look around, you see Tully is face down in the sand next to you. You see that there are a number of mugs strewn about, some flasks that are uncorked and leaking various fluids. It looks like your party has taken you to the beach, and this is where it ended last night. As you look around, you do not see any indication of Penny, but you see that the sun is slowly rising in the distance.
Is Tully okay? I'll
Roll-
lift up his head.
Roll me a medicine check. A 9. There's a moment where you're not sure if he's breathing, but then all of a sudden you hear like a and he's snoring really loudly in his sleep as you dislodge a bunch of sand in one nostril.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to hazily go over and stick my head in the cool water.
Yeah, as you do, you find refreshment, you find clarity. Your head is still ringing, but you feel much better. It washes away quite a bit of sand. You can see that the sand has caked into all of your clothes and in your hair. And it's very much the same for Tully, who actually Tully's now naked. Because absolutely, he would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sandy butt crack. It's gonna be a
Honestly,
problem.
did he get dressed from naked night at the bar?
Oh, he full on did that race down the beach naked. Yep, that happened.
Yeah, that'd be Tully.
Yeah, actually, go ahead and roll me an acrobatics check, Poll. Let's see how well you did. Okay, Tully rolled a nat 1. I think you win this. Okay,
I'm not 100% sure Paul put his clothes on because he was also naked at the bar.
Okay, so you are butt naked, sandy, butt crack, and everything.
Mhm.
You had won the race. Tully had probably fallen asleep right where he is, and eventually you probably came back and sat down next to him and fell asleep as well. But the morning is coming on, and you know that the party has plans. Plans to head out to an island where one of the Mariner Guild associates can give you more information.
Well, I don't know what happened, but I better find some clothes for me and Tully. So I'm gonna try and find some clothes for me and Tully, or at least a blanket or something.
Okay. You
I
see,
don't want to get arrested.
yeah, you see that there's a small fisher hut nearby, one pretty close to the docks here, and you see that there are a number of clothes hung on a line. You find a faded pink dress, and you find a dark green shirt and some loose trousers that are cut at the knee.
All right. How valuable do they look?
They don't. They look very old.
All right. I still have my haversack with me.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't leave. So I'm gonna drop a gold coin, and I'm gonna take those clothes and scuttle over to where Tully is, and I'm gonna pick him up and toss him in the water.
Okay, I love it. All right. As you do so, thank you, GeekDice, for 5 cards. I'm going to assume that's one for each person. Okay. Poll, tell me when to stop.
Stop!
Oh, okay, cool. So as you toss Tully into the water, he immediately starts flailing. He snaps to consciousness, and he's sputtering sea water as he comes crawling out, drenched and dripping, and goes, "Hey, what'd you do that for?"
You're all covered with sand, weren't you? You gotta get dressed. And I'll hold up whichever of the outfits is closer to his size. I know he's a little small.
You hand him the little pink dress, and he begins to shrug it on without any kind of concern. And he scratches his butt cheek as he goes, "All right, yeah. I would have done the same thing to you, so I guess that's fair."
It's totally fair. What are you talking about? And then I'll put on my clothes. We better get back to the ship before something else happens. I don't
All
know what
right.
time it is. I look around.
He looks up, and with a surprising amount of clarity, he says with great confidence, I think it's about 8 a.m.
That should be early enough. All right.
Yeah.
You could even sleep a bit more. No, better not. I'll start heading back to the ship.
Okay, very good. And he trumps on after you. We will cut over to KayBee. Where did the partying night leave you?
KayBee was studying the scrolls. I think the buzz had kind of worn off with the combat. You know, they had been drinking in the pub, and that was a lot of fun. Everybody letting their hair down. Why so serious? But then the fight with the snake, the big snake in the bottom of Kaladek's tower. So he ended the night looking at the magic scrolls, trying to see what new magic he might be able to glean.
All
from that
right.
loot.
Very good. I believe you had 2 scrolls, right?
Yep.
Okay. Tell me when to stop. We'll do your
Stop.
card draw. Okay. Very cool. So you're looking over the scrolls, and you see that the first one is essentially a one-time use scroll of Speak with Dead. It is a necromancy scroll. And the other one, you realize, isn't really the same kind of scroll at all. It seems to be something custom made, a spell that perhaps Kaladek had crafted himself. And as you're looking over it, it's really hard to tell what exactly it's going to do, but you can tell that it's definitely a, let me see. It's an abjuration scroll, and it seems to be crafted to summon something.
Oh, that's good. That, well, necromancer, maybe that's good. Yeah, so I think KayBee would be pondering the new magic, and he's pleased. He's excited. Tomorrow promises, now, this next morning, promises to be high adventure. Finally, off to do something perhaps very important. Time to be proven as a worthy knight of the Sea Lily.
Okay. Would you say that you ended your night on the ship?
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely.
Cool. Next, we'll cut over to Garen. Garen, you could have been up to pretty much anything. Essentially, we had the party go and try to rescue Finn, and if you wanted Garen to be along for that too, it was a small combat. We fought against a very strange creature. It seemed to be like an artifice snake construct of some kind, and it was bound to the room. We had gone around and destroyed glyphs that were carved into the walls to deactivate this large construct. And then after that, we all pretty much just partied and got drunk.
Yeah, so it's like it's been one day in game since I was with the party last.
Yeah, basically.
All right. No, I'd say Garen wasn't there. He probably missed the call to action, but he probably went to visit the owl bear and spent the rest of the time helping Simona look after the boat.
Okay, sounds good. Tell me when to stop.
Go ahead and I don't know, maybe. And stop.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So we're gonna say, just for like chronological sense sake, we'll say that Arlen's encounter with the owlbear happened, and then afterwards, perhaps like a few hours later, Garen, you decided to make your way towards the grove. So we'll go back to the
Yeah,
map.
that's right. Arlen did go visit the owlbear too.
Mm-hmm. So you head over towards the grove here. Why is that messed up? That's fine. Okay. So you make your way past the houses and past the farmland and approach the sea grove of Obad High. You find Farron is currently working away at a number of poultices, and there seems to be no one else here. He has his back to you. He's standing on a wooden stool, grinding away at various herbs. You see this clearing, and there's a number of wooden pews, and far off to the other side is the wooden statue of Obad High himself.
Can I roll a perception check, see if Garen can notice the owlbear?
Yes. Okay, with a
25.
25, absolutely. You see as you step into the area that there is something rustling in a nearby bush, and you can tell that the owlbear is going to try to ambush you.
All right. Garen would pretend not to notice and walk by the bush and then try to catch the owlbear as it goes to pounce.
Okay, roll me a dexterity saving throw. Okay, 18. Absolutely. The last second you turn around and you catch the owlbear right underneath the arms, and you have this flailing purple, feathery, fluffy mass in between your hands. And you see that it has large, large eyes, and it is purring at you. It goes brrr, brrr, and it is wiggling around and very pleased to see you. It is very heavy. This is the equivalent of probably like a 50-pound dog at this point.
Right. Yep. So Garen would set it down, scratch it behind the, behind the ears or whatever equivalent they have.
Yeah, it has these two like fox-like ears.
Okay.
Yeah, as you do, it starts thumping its leg around, and Farron hears what's going on. He puts the poultice down. He jumps off of the stool and starts waddling up. Hello, Garen. It is good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So I see the owlbear is adjusting well.
Aye, Arlen was in through here just a little while ago.
Oh, I must have missed her.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to say that the creature seems to be adapting quite well, and it is taking to a varied diet, which is a good sign.
Good.
In the wild, the owlbear can be quite a formidable scavenger. It will try to eat pretty much anything, but having a strictly meat diet can prove quite deadly if you seek to have it as a companion.
Yeah, that's probably a very good point. But probably still too little to join me, aren't you, little friend?
It's just kind of like rolling on the ground, just wiggling, showing you this like soft, tufty, downy underside, this cream fur that goes all the way down its belly. And they absolutely have a primordial pouch too, just like cats. Like they have this layer of fat over their stomachs, so they kind of have like this like insulated fluffiness right over their
Right.
vital organs.
Yeah, and Garen's gonna reach down and scratch the belly.
Oh, as you do, it tries to like clamp on you and it starts like biting you, and you start to bleed a little, but it's nothing like super serious.
Yeah, playful.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see Farron put his hands on his hips and he goes, well, I suppose it might be time to give it a name. Have you thought about anything?
No, actually I haven't. We've been so busy with everything else.
Well, I would say that it's not of any swifty requirement. Take your time. But it would be helpful to start its training soon and young.
I don't know. Because literally Tim hasn't even thought of it.
Well, why don't you think on it? And whenever you come up with it, why don't you come visit again?
No, I think I'll do that.
Very good. Was there anything else that you needed?
No, I wanted to check on my little friend here, see how he was doing.
Very good. And Farron reaches over to try to give you a pat on your arm. Can you roll me a wisdom saving throw?
Okay, wisdom. Yeah, that's such a great.
Okay,
Well,
17. So something about the connection as his hand touches you, he seems to have a bit of a shock. You don't feel anything, but you see that there is a look of concern on his face for a split second, and then he shakes his head. The moppy mess of his brown hair spills over his eyes as he takes a step back. What a strange thing. I thought I just saw something. I will have to meditate on this. Garen, I think it'd be important that you be careful over the next few days.
I do my best to be careful, Baron, but I will take care. Thank you.
Stick close to your friends. They are good people.
That they are.
Well, good luck. And you see him slowly beginning to step away. And as he's stepping away, he's looking you up and down, a look of concern on his face. And he shakes his head again and resumes his work.
Oh yeah, that curse. Alright. Yeah, and then after that he goes back to the boat and spends the rest of the night there.
Okay, very good. What does the morning look like for you?
Probably his normal routine. Cares for his gear and then gets up and goes to breakfast.
Okay, very good. Finn, what is your morning like for you?
Well, I'm trying to think now. Did Arlen did both Finn and Arlen go to the snapping lion, or did we go back to the boat? Do you
I
remember?
can't remember either. I think we went to the snapping line.
Okay. Would Garen have passed on that he was going to go to the boat then, so we would know where to go?
I think all of you would know that eventually everyone should meet back up at the boat.
Okay, all right then. I just want to be sure.
It's
All
up
right,
to you if you want to end your night wherever.
Okay. No, we'll stick with the snapping lion.
Okay.
Finn will wake up. First thing he'll do is, look to make sure everything is where it is. He'll kind of look over, to see if Bims has caused any more trouble during his sleep or not.
Tell me when to stop.
What a good time for this card. Stop, please.
Okay. All right. Had Finn been drinking at all?
No, he was pretty captured and sober.
Okay, very good. You wake up and you see that your front door is slightly open.
Oh.
Enough for a small fairy dragon to wiggle through.
He'll get up. There's no sight of Bims in the room then, correct?
No.
Okay. He'll kind of gather his things and he'll look around and go, "Oh, he must have gotten out. I wonder what he's doing." And then he'll gather everything up and then head out the door and then see if he's in the wherever.
Yeah, so you step out of your bedroom and it opens up into the shared lobby between all of the bedrooms that you have rented here at the Snapping Line. And you see Bims, and his violet, purple, blue body is currently perched, sitting on hind legs, looking up at Arlen's door. As you start coming up, he turns his head. He doesn't get up. He looks at you and goes, "Meow, meow, meow, meow," and then turns and looks back at Arlen's door. His eyes are wide-eyed.
And then he'll I don't remember if I can communicate with him. I can speak
Draconic.
Draconic. So could I understand what he said then with those beeps, or
He was just making animal noises at you.
okay.
I'm pretty sure he can't talk.
Did it sound concerning? Would I be able to tell if it was concern or curiosity or?
It was definitely curiosity.
Okay. So okay, Finn's like, all right, I seem to be kind of curious about what's going on in there, and then he'll kind of give a knock on Arlen's door anyway, considering he probably's gonna try and wake her up anyway.
Okay. Arlen, you had communed with your club before going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
What are you up to now in the morning?
I had also touched the crystals and like tried to figure those out. But I guess in the morning Arlen's mind is still focused on what the heck these crystals are. So I think she takes one of them out of the bag again.
With her bare hand?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
So I gotta choose the juiciest moments, okay? All right, this is pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, so you pick it up with your bare hand, and as you do, this purple crystal, it is definitely raw. It's kind of clouded in certain parts, and it doesn't have any kind of defined or chiseled edge to it. It looks as if it's a natural formation that's been ripped from a wall, more or less. When you pick it up, it begins to faintly glow in your hand, and it feels ice cold.
Arlen is going to try to talk to it.
Okay. What do you say to the rock?
Is anything in here?
You look at it curiously. Roll me a perception check.
I would love to roll you a perception check. Do I have a nat 20?
You do. You have one left.
I'm going to use my nat 20.
Okay. Very.
Let me roll first and see if I just happen to get a nat 20 anyway.
Okay. Go ahead
Let
and
me
roll.
game the system. Okay, I'm going to
13.
use my nat 20.
Okay. You used your nat 20. Very good. So as you look at it and you see that it pulses almost like a heartbeat. You definitely get the sense that it's not really reacting to what you're saying, but it is reacting to your touch. And you definitely get a sense that it's leaching heat from you. Your hand is starting to feel more and more cold. You're very acutely aware of the tingling sensation in your hands. Your fingers are starting to go numb as you maintain this skin to rock contact.
Okay. Then, seeing that it's not sentient or the embodiment of something sentient, she will put it back in the bag as her hand is getting frozen.
Okay. As you put it into your bag, you hear it cracking a little, and you get the sense that it's not super, super strong. If you wanted to perhaps grind it down or break it apart, you could possibly do that. It seems to be on the fragile side.
Interesting. Okay, I'll keep this in mind. So Arlen puts it back in the bag, and we'll say that's when she gets a knock at her door.
Mm-hmm. You
What
hear
is it?
Finn's voice.
Oh, well, Bims is sort of looking curious at your door for whatever reason, but I was up, wasn't sure if you were already still in your room or not, but I was gonna reconvene at the boat with the others pretty soon.
All right. Yeah, let's head that way.
Okay. Do you want me to
Arlen
wait?
will-
Do you want me to wait for you, or do you want me just to go ahead?
I'll just be a minute.
Okay. And then he'll step away, and then he'll try to like motion Bims to kind of come with him, but
Roll me an animal handling check.
I can do that.
You can hear Bims scratching at the door, Arlen, these tiny little claws. With a 12, you see that Bims is pretty determined and seems to want to get into Arlen's room. I'm assuming that you're not, like, physically trying to touch the animal right now.
No, I'm not gonna. No, I tried to like get him to go with words. Well, he seems very curious about what's going on in your room. I'll just. You're only gonna be a minute. I'll wait here because I want to see what he's freaking out about.
There's literally nothing in here, but that's fine. Arlen will grab all of her stuff. She'll tie the bag with these gems, like, to her belt. And then she'll open the door.
Okay. As you open the door, Bims does the thing the cats do and kind of like leans up against your leg and just like, meh, 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 meh. And you see him kind of unfurl his wings as he glides over to your windowsill and just kind of perches there watching you.
All right. I don't know animals very well. I don't know what all this is about.
Oh, I don't know half the time what Bims is up to, but I don't know. And I guess Finn will try again, be like, come on, Bims, the door's open. You've seen everything in here. And he'll speak it in Draconic, obviously.
Okay. As you do, Bims does pop down and seems like he will follow you. He perches onto your shoulder.
Oh, there we go, buddy. All right. Maybe
Right.
he just wanted to see what your room looked like. I don't know.
I suppose so. Let's get to the ship.
Let's go.
All right.
Gonna stop by the Continental breakfast and grab a muffin, and then
Oh, yes. I think I'm gonna grab me a donut.
Okay. So you find that Saltmarsh all around you is already bustled and awake. At 8 a.m., it is already a few hours into the working day. Arlen, you find that Hannah has prepared a special batch of muffins for you. This particular one has anchovies in it.
that's perfect.
You see that
Arlen gobbles it up.
yeah, she takes it especially out of the kitchen for you. It was definitely not in anyone else's interest to partake in. It was especially for you. As the two of you get back onto the ship, you find that that your crew is already heavily underway in preparing to take sail. Imloth, your first hand, comes up to you and says, "Good morning, Captain. I have already set course and I got the entire crew to prepare to take off whenever you're ready."
All right. She kind of looks around, studying everything around her. Sees that everything is in good shape. I think we're ready to cast off.
Very good. The rest of your party is already on the ship. I've also compiled a number of reviews.
Reviews?
Yes, in your absence, it seems that the crew has come up with the idea to write reviews about each and every one of your party members.
Well, that's fantastic. Are they written down, or are you just...
Yes, the papers are in your room.
Thank you. I will be sure to read that.
Very good. Set sail! Hem the sail to the eastward, star...
Star sign.
Star sign,
Rising moon.
avocado. Hop, hop, hop. And everyone starts to get ready to, I don't fucking know, boat shit. Yeah. Everyone, you hear the clinging and clanging of various boat parts and ropes being pulled. Like, maybe some of the ropes are just purely aesthetic. Like, you just see the aesthetic of people pulling ropes and wooden parts swinging around and moving aside. And you're pretty sure the boat starts moving.
Okay.
Okay. You can hear Garen's voice down in the mess hall along with other crew members. Is anyone joining Garen in the mess, or is there anything specific anyone wants to do as you're beginning to take off now?
And could you gather everybody and send them to my room, and we'll see what these reviews are about.
Very good, Captain.
Oh, that was to Finn.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh, yeah, it's still Arlen. I can do that for you.
All right.
Paul's gonna head to the mess and try and get some greasy potatoes in or something to do with this hangover.
Very good.
Then we'll go around to everyone, various grabbing breakfast or whatever everybody's doing, and just kind of poke his head wherever everyone is. And be like, Arlen wants to have everyone meet in her room as soon as we can. Thank you. And then he'll just,
Okay. So in the mess hall, Finn pops his head in and then heads off, but we have Garen in there, as well as Pole. The two of you are sat down, and you see Malaya, the halfling, is looking curiously over the two of you as you're eating this potato soup. It is very greasy. There's some carrots and onions in it. You see the chunks have in this soup, they've kind of started to melt a bit. So they're on the creamy side and they kind of come apart in your mouth when you push it around with your tongue. And it is very savory. It's very heavy with butter. She's looking curiously to the two of you and she says, well, do you like it? What do you think?
It's not bad.
Paul's like, I don't eat butter. Sorry. Pushes it back.
Oh, right.
Sorry, I should have asked. My mistake.
Well, and that's all right. I can put something together for you. It should be ready by the time you finish your meeting.
Meeting? What meeting?
Oh, didn't Master Finn just come in here to say that you're required?
He did.
Oh, that was for us?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
man.
for us.
Already? What time is it?
Too early.
All right.
I just say too
Thanks.
early. The camera pans to where Tully is sitting next to the pole and he's just face down.
Yeah.
Roll me another medicine check. 5. You're not sure if he's breathing.
Oh man, I'll get worried about that then. I'll lift him up, make sure his nostrils aren't in the soup.
Yeah, you see soup leaking out of his nostril. He just starts snorting again. He starts drinking the soup.
All right. I gotta go to a meeting, Tully. I'll see you later.
All right. And he sees the bowl that you've pushed away. He kind of reaches forward. He's he can't grab it because his arms are too short.
Garen
shove
pushes
it.
it over to him.
He just
Then
starts
uses-
drinking it, just slopping down on the pink dress and everything. Complete animal.
Garen grabs a piece of bread and walks off with the soup and the bread, and he's dipping the bread into the soup and eating it as he goes to Arlen's cabin.
Very good. So, as the group of you convene in Arlen's quarters, you are off the shore of Saltmarsh. You have been told by your navigator that it's going to be about notes. It's about 3 hours to get to the lighthouse. So you've got some time to yourselves to prepare your approach. Arlen, when you get to your cabin, you find that there is a stack of papers on your desk. And it seems to be bundled together and separated, organized very obviously in part by Imloth. A number of customer service review letters, essentially.
Okay.
It seems in your absence that the crew has written down notes on grading each one of you.
Perfect. Arlen doesn't want to spoil the surprise, so she'll just kind of wait for everybody to get there before reading through them.
Okay. Everyone joins you.
All right, everyone. It seems the crew has been kind enough to provide us with reviews. So I thought we could just read them together as we're traveling to this island. And see how we're doing.
What you mean reviews?
I don't know. And she grabs the pile that's for Paul, and she begins reading.
Okay, so you begin to read out loud basically just a summary of different things, and it seems that the general opinion of the crew is that they find Paul to be one of them. They feel like family with Paul. They specifically note that they enjoy that Paul plays with them, participates in running around on the ship, seems to have quite the personality on during shore leave, and they note that quite a few of them noticed that Paul and Tully are having a very budding relationship, and they like it. They say in smaller font that someone needs to control Tully, and maybe a gentle, playful approach is a smart one.
Nice. Oh man, my reviews are going to be terrible. Okay.
Paul.
I'm crunching on some like dry bread that I just somehow had to had in my pockets.
Paul, you have drawn the Vizier card, so you get to ask one question, and I will give you a helpful answer. So I'll give you a minute to think about that. But basically, the various reviews here, they will give you some kind of insight. You don't have to worry about how it's going to fit together. Just ask me any one question, and we'll piece it together there. Okay, Arlen, you have papers in your hands.
Next up, Garen.
All right, Garen.
Yeah, as she starts to read, Garen's gonna be like, I thought I was done with this shit when I got out of the military.
You find that a lot of the papers are very short. One of them is just a bunch of question marks, and another one of them, they're all anonymous, by the way. They don't have names attached to them. But you find one that has been written with a very deliberate hand. Go ahead and roll me an insight check, anyone who's looking at this paper.
I think I'm the only one that has the paper.
Okay, if you're not showing it, then go ahead and roll me in insight. 9.
Oh no, I'm going to use my advantage.
Okay.
No, yes, I do have an advantage.
You
Okay.
do, yeah.
I love using things on useless rolls. Okay, perfect.
23. Okay. You are very, very confident that the handwriting on this particular one is Agni, your quartermaster, the dwarf monk. And as you're looking at it, it says someone has taken the time to write out their thoughts, where everyone else is like, who is this guy? Where is he from? I saw him in the dark side of the docks, you know, and like question mark, and then like one person has written just like a conspiracy board, like equivalent of like notes and like a web. This particular one that someone took the time to write out on says to the effect of, Garen seems to be a very resolute individual, and he seems to be a grounded force with the party. I look forward to his leadership, and I have very many questions. The crew perhaps might not trust him because they don't know who he is or where he's from. I hear rumors around the ship that he's a mysterious being, and that keeps others at a distance. We all hope to, perhaps one day, learn more of him and come to trust him as the way that the captain and her fellow party members do.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's really good.
I mean, still a bit of questions, which is totally fine if you're trying to go for like more of a mysterious approach to being a crewmate. But next, she grabs. Let's see, I want to see Finn's.
Okay.
Oh no.
Garen, did you want to have a response, or how do you react to this?
Your mic is muted.
Garen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think Garen would sit there and say, I guess I do keep to myself a bit too much. That's it.
Okay. As you grab Finn's, you see that it seems that 2 of them have been chewed up. Something has eaten partially through the stack of papers for Finn, and they're still kind of wet. You aren't quite sure what or how this came to be, but for what it says on them, it says that Finn seems to have quite a bit of heart. They enjoy seeing Finn in the mess hall. They wonder if he has the same kind of sense of humor as Pole. He seems to be quite serious and keeps to himself. And they wonder if there's another part to him that they can discover. They are all terrified of the Rock. Every single one of them mentions Dwayne. And Arlen, the one that you kind of clock to be Agnes, specifically mentions that this might be a potential safety threat to the ship if it falls into the wrong hands. And there's like a footnote of they don't suspect anyone to perform any kind of mutiny. The general morale of the ship seems to be pretty high. But if it did happen, that would be very, very bad.
All right. People seem to like you then.
It does. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna try and be out a little bit more, I guess. And as far as Dwayne, and he'll kind of like show off Dwayne a little bit. Not anyone can just pick this up and throw it around. So
No.
it should be fine.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe. And if our anchor ever breaks, we can just tie that to a rope and then it'll...
Oh, you know what? I never
quickly work
thought of
the
that. Yeah, I never thought of that. You're right. Damn.
Amazing. Finn, roll me a perception check.
Okay. Perception. See if I can read right this time.
Okay, that's persuasion.
No, I can't read.
It's okay. It's really hard because they're all right next to each other. Perception.
That one the right
15.
one?
Yes.
Okay.
Good job. So with the 15, you notice that Arlen, as she has pulled up the papers to look at them, one of them slid out of the group and is on the floor underneath Arlen's desk.
Then he'll kind of follow it, and I guess he'll point it out to Arlen. I think one of the papers fell.
Oh. And she'll pick it up.
Okay. You pick it up and you see that there is a strange symbol on it. There's nothing else but something that resembles a skull and a garland of thorns surrounding it.
Do I recognize this at all?
No.
This doesn't seem like a nice thing. And she turns it around.
Okay.
Was this in Finn's pile?
This
Yeah.
was in Finn's pile, yeah. If you show to Finn, you instantly recognize this. This particular symbol you have seen in your village.
Mm-hmm.
You remember seeing this in a flash during a fit of violence. When you were fighting and or fleeing from your village as it was being overrun by undead, you remember seeing this crest on one of the chest pieces of the monsters that came rolling through.
Finn will instantly kind of freeze up looking at that.
You have drawn the Fool card.
Oh.
It's just to remind you on what the Fool card does is you lose something, a memory, a sense, a bond, etc. So upon seeing this, your blood runs cold. This is the first time you've ever found any kind of trace of what happened back in your village
Mm-hmm.
outside of your history. someone here on the ship has a shared knowledge of what happened, or might know that your fate is entwined with this entity. You don't know who your enemy is, but you know that they have powerful undead powers.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose something here. Do you want me to give you a minute to think about it?
You lose your clean pants.
I'm not going that way. Could I have lost, I guess, sort of a sense of like, I don't know, like a sense of like in my mind, I kind of figured that like I kind of knew everything that had happened. Like I saw everything happen. I would have been younger at this point. I would have been like 10 years, 11 when this happened in my village. So I would have definitely been fleeing. But could I just say that like I thought, through various looking at stuff, researching stuff, looking at stuff later on in life, I sort of thought I pieced everything together. But now this gives me a sense of, oh wait, no, there was more than I saw. I don't know really what sense that would be.
Yeah,
but
no, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So as you're looking at this, you feel startled. You feel unsure of the information that you've compiled over the years trying to hunt down your enemy, and someone here knows something, and it rattles you. It shakes your confidence in what you've started to build together as a web of information. So, what does Arlen see on your face as she shows this to you?
What Arlen sees is Finn is just like his eyes kind of go big a little bit, not like really a jaw drop, but you can see like how someone just kind of goes pale. That's sort of what you see. You kind of see Finn go pale, especially since you kind of know a little bit more backstory about on me, and you kind of just you can just tell that I'm freaked out by it. I'm just totally freaked out by that, and like I wasn't expecting to ever see that again.
So you know what this is?
Yeah, I haven't seen that since my childhood. Well, I've done some research and saw some books about it and books, but as of like out of nowhere, since I was a kid, I've not seen that.
And what is it?
Well, when my village was being run over by those undead creatures, that was the symbol that they had. So whoever was controlling them, or on the however, I guess either whoever's controlling them or who it was on the zombies, they had the symbol on them. So sort of like a marking almost, and that's what they had on them. And someone here knows about that, or may have been there, or may have had something similar happen to them. I don't know. And then he just goes quiet.
So it's either someone that is connected and knows what happened, perhaps is from your village or something, or in the worst case scenario, is someone that is working for the person that did all this.
I hope it's not the latter.
Well, another thought. How many sheets of paper are in Finn's pile? So it's supposed to be one per crew member, correct?
The stacks have varied. It seems that not every single stack is the same number of papers.
Well, I have a way of figuring out who it is if we need to.
I'm gonna start trying to maybe ask around. I don't know. I don't want to, because if they were also affected by this, I don't want to call them out either. Like if they're an enemy, like I want to try and take care of it, but also if they're, how do they know?
I don't want to. I'll give you time to try to discreetly figure out what's going on, but we are heading towards an island of undead, and if this is an enemy situation, then
we need to
it's
know.
not a good idea to go to an island of undead and leave the crew when someone may be conspiring.
If you find out who it is, let me know. I want to talk to them then, because I'll leave it to you to investigate. You're better at figuring out these who's what and on the ship then, and you're the captain anyway.
Well, my methods will not be conspicuous. So if you want to try to solve this discreetly, then perhaps you should try.
All right. Can I have the paper?
We have a few hours. She'll give it to you.
Then I would, I might be able to use my air of mystery to aid you in this as well, if you would like.
I'll take any help I can get. I'm legit freaked out right now.
I can tell.
But enough about that. We still have piles to get through. And she
Yeah,
grabs
let's go
KayBee.
to let's go to someone else.
Okay. With KBs,
No, thank you.
you see that most of them are pretty lukewarm. Like they say, pretty sure KB's behind everyone's shoes getting shined, and someone anonymously admits, like, yeah, I want KB to know that I deliberately place snacks outside his door as a way of saying thank you, because I know he's involved with this.
No, thank you.
And you get the general vibe that the crew accepts you, and they seem to have a mutual respect. It's more of like an equal playing field rather than holding you up on some kind of pedestal. It is a companionship, and they find you as an equal. However, there is one very interesting one, and you find that there's like a mini bundle inside the bundle, and it is kind of thick. And you find that someone has written some kind of short story literature, and KayBee has fan fiction. Someone
this
has
is so
written a
cool.
story. Well, I don't know if Arlen is showing you the paper.
If it's a fanfic, absolutely.
Okay. It says something to the effect of like the adventures of KayBee, and someone seems to have theorized that KayBee was an ancient warrior from some kind of knightly order, and they've established some lore about how the Order of the Sea Lily came to be, and they talk about this ship that has the ability to fly between mountains. And it is very ridiculous. And someone has put a lot of imagination into it.
This is really good.
Yeah, here, keep this one.
So, KayBee, you don't know who, but someone on the ship very obviously admires you to the point that they've written fanfic about you, and anyone who's going to write fanfic about someone to that point is obviously going to die for you. You have drawn the knight card.
Oh wow.
Who was
Wow.
You don't know who it
I have a
is.
secret admirer.
I will say that fanfic is a wonderful way to bring that card in. I love it so much.
All right, and then Arlen grabs the last stack.
Okay.
And this is kind of like the thing where she's like reading it in her head before
You want
like
me to help
reading
you
it
with that,
out
Captain?
loud.
You
No,
want us
it's
to...
fine. I've got
Okay.
it.
All right.
Arlen, you pick up the papers and you begin to quietly read. You find many accounts of earnest appreciation. There are some notes that say that it is obvious that you are young and that you rely heavily on the judgment of your party to make decisions, and that they can easily sway you. But they don't look at this as a negative thing. They list it as a strength, as a way for someone to be even-minded and thoughtful, to think beyond themselves and their own intuition. Someone amongst the papers mentions that you're really fucking hot and they want to kiss you. You've drawn the star card. This gives you a boost of confidence that perhaps you weren't expecting. So you get to add +1 to any stat that you like, cannot exceed 24.
Okay. There's no worry of that happening. I'm gonna put it in intelligence.
Ooh. Smart.
She'll read them out as they actually are. She's not gonna change it up or anything.
Okay. So yeah, you all hear a number of accounts that say Arlen is a cool leader, a good leader, and they notice that it's not all because of Arlen, it's because she has a very good support system.
Right. So all around, pretty fair reviews. I think those are all very well, except your creepy, potentially ominous one. But other than that, seems we're doing a great job.
All right.
Good job,
Mhm.
everybody.
Yeah.
So if
So-
you would like, we still have a number of hours until we reach the lighthouse, but feel free to do your investigation. And let me know if you find anything.
I'll let you know as soon as I know anything.
I will say that it'll be close to an hour left before you make it to the lighthouse, so you won't have time to do a very thorough investigation at this point. But you know that the order of what's going to happen is you're going to the lighthouse, marked here L on the map, and from there you're going to gather information and then go to Abbey Island. So you do have time after you land at the lighthouse to also continue investigation. So is there anything that anyone wants to do over the next hour before you land?
Well, I was going to give you my question.
Yes, Paul, you're kind of ruminating over these pages. What comes to mind?
Well, there's only one question in Paul's mind right now, and that's how do I get Penny Sprinkle back?
I love it. Okay. You see that there is a review that mentions someone has noticed Penny Sprinkle and your relationship with her. And they say, I used to have a fae companion once. And I understand how profound that kind of bond could be. And they share a sentiment that has a subtle longing and appreciation and perhaps knowledge. So I'll say that you're smart enough to figure out that this particular review, though you don't know who wrote it, someone knows what Penny is and how Penny came to be. So perhaps they might have the answer and be able to show you how to find Penny again.
All right, well, I'm going to try and... Can I have this one, Arlen, Captain? I want to try and figure out who this is.
Of course.
Thank you. Do you know who it is? I'll just show
My
my
inside
hand ready
check.
to everybody.
Yeah, so as you all kind of cross-examine it, you can either roll investigation or insight check. Wow. That's a nat 20 from Arlen, a 10
Wow.
from Garen, 11 from Finn, 13 from Paul, and a 27 from KayBee. Okay. I think looking at handwriting for the first time, especially because you don't really have a lot to go off of, it's really hard. However, Arlen and KayBee, you begin to cross-examine between the various piles. and with subtle clues here and there. Yeah, go ahead.
Captain, look at the payroll log. Everybody's got to sign when they get their pay. I think we know who this is.
You cross-examine the ledger as well, and you're able to divine that this person who has a connection with the Fae is none other than Book, the pale individual with braided black hair that's shorn on one side.
There you go, Paul.
All right. Well, thank you. That's excellent. Now, these are supposed to be anonymous. How am I going to pretend I didn't know who it was? I'll figure it out. Next time I'm in the mess hall, I'm gonna look for Book.
Okay. Sounds good. Finn, how do you want to go about your investigation? You don't have a lot of time, but you do figure that you can break it up into 2 parts.
I think the first thing Finn will do is go with Garen, find Garen, and like talk to him because he said he could help. And he'll go up to him and say, "Well, we've got, I think, the whole crew knows we got about an hour, right? Everyone knows we got.
Yeah.
We got about an hour. Garen, should we start what you said you could help me with now, or should we wait till our longer journey?"
I think we can start a little now,
Okay.
carefully. I can think of 2 people who would be willing to talk to us about this, or who may have a better idea of people's history, but I don't know how much they'd be willing to talk to me. But I was going to go to Simona and see if she might know anything. You could try talking to Agni. Quartermasters know everyone.
Oh, true. Then yeah, I guess I'll start there then.
Yes. Be discreet. Don't mention evil necromancer, but
Well, yeah, of course. I'll try my best to sort of Do you think maybe showing them the note and saying like, "Can you recognize this drawing or handwriting?" Do you think that would be okay enough to ask?
well, I mean, it is pretty obscure. I don't know if, but at the same time, if you show that to the person who wrote it, you'll tip your hand.
I'm never good about these, so I don't know what to do.
Yes. No, I don't know the best way to broach this, because we are trying to dig into someone's history that they probably don't want known, either because it was
All right.
painful or because, well, it's just plain bad.
Yes. Yep, I know that all too well. That's why I was surprised by it.
I'd say there was something in your reviews that make you think someone on the boat might be from the same village, and you'd like to seek them out.
You know what? If I was of clearer mind, I probably could have thought of that. Thank you. I really needed someone to talk to you with this.
No problem. And like I said, I'll kind of poke around with who I think might be willing to help.
Okay. Yeah. And then Finn will go off to the quartermaster.
Okay, sounds good. So as everyone goes in their separate ways, Garen, you first go up to Simona. You see that the boatswain, this orc woman with dark hair that's pulled into a braid. You see that she's wearing a red scarf. She is currently repairing a number of ropes on the deck as people are moving about in directing the ship. As you come up, she looks up and says, "Hello, Garen. What can I do for you?"
In one of those reviews, something makes Finn think a member of the crew might be from the same hometown as him. And he would like to try to figure out who it was so they can, link up.
Ah, that makes sense. And you see that she's like pulling on the ropes quite hard, and this is a very physical job that she's doing. She grunts as she works, and she looks up to you through the corner of her eyes, and she says, "So, did the captain and your group find the reviews all right? What did you think about them?"
Most people were happy. I think Garen would, go and help her as they were talking.
Okay. Roll me an athletics check. 21. Very good. You have seen Simona do this quite a few times, and I think this was also part of the... She essentially gave you some beginner training in another episode. So you kind of fall into it pretty easily, and she hands over some of the work without really mentioning it, and you can tell that she's appreciative, and she says, "Oh, good. I was a bit worried that it might have been a bit presumptuous, but... Well, one of the crewmates said that it was something that they did on the previous ship, and it brought everyone closer together. They said that they had a captain that was absolutely atrocious and kind of like had a complex, and it really rubbed off on the crew the wrong way. And we figured that since we're starting off pretty new with the Sea Lily, that we should start off on the right foot, you know? Well, I'm glad that no one took it any wrong way.
No.
As far as any village, I grew up around Saltmarsh, and I don't know anything about where Finn's from.
No. Would you happen to know... I mean, I hate to pry into people's private lives.
Yeah.
But do you happen to know where some of the other crew might be from?
Well, I know that a few of them are locals, but when Hannah hired us, it was from a pretty wide cast net, especially since you're looking for people who are keen to be on a ship. People come and go through various ports. I know that Silos, Digby, and Zarek are all native to Saltmarsh. They've been here their whole lives, and I've seen them around. As far as people who are outsiders, I know for a fact that Tully, Tama, and Malaya are not from Saltmarsh. For others, I can't really say. Oh, Agni's definitely not from Saltmarsh.
Yes, he was former military, I believe, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'll see if I can start narrowing it down a bit more.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anything I can do to help. But, in my experience, if you ever want any crewmates to, open up, having a nice party on the ship would probably be a way to ease any nerves, so to speak.
Yeah, when I was in the Royal Army, that was a common bonding experience.
Yeah, or a contest. I will admit, the run around the ship naked contest is pretty popular.
Yes, but Arlen isn't fond of that when she's on board.
Yeah. Well, maybe something similar then.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that quite a few of the crew members went pretty hard at the bottle last night, so they might not be too keen right now, but they might be in a few days out on the sea.
This is true.
All right, well, you've done really well with these ropes. Good work.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. I'll see you around, Garen. And she continues to work. And we'll cut over to Pole. Paul, as you are moving through the ship, are you looking for a book?
Well, I plan to go to the mess hall first, and if he's there, I'm gonna try and sit right up by them.
Okay.
And if not, I'll get some food first, and then I'll look around.
Okay. When you get to the mess hall, you see Malaya is very excited at your approach, and she returns with a new bowl of soup and says, "Hey, Paul, I made sure not to put any butter in this one. This one's just for you. I want to make sure that you don't go hungry. I've put the same vegetables. The only difference is no butter."
Oh, thanks. That's so wonderful of you. You didn't have to go for all that trouble.
Oh, it's fine. It's probably something that the crew needs, honestly. They need a balanced diet, and I'm going to try my best.
Well, you're doing great. It smells really good. I start eating it right away.
Thanks. And it's pretty refreshing. It has some celery in there as well, and just a ton of vegetables.
I love celery.
Me too.
Some people don't think it has a flavor, but it really does.
It's actually pretty strong. Peculiar. And she just like crunches on a whole piece of celery. Well, you're the only one in here right now, but I really appreciate you coming back. And if you want, I can put some of the soup into a flask so you can take it with you.
Oh, that would be great.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. She runs off and she gives you a flask. You can add flask of soup, of good soup, to your inventory. But book is not here.
Do I know where Book's cabin is?
Yes, you
Or is
know,
he just crew?
you know that the crew all share a common space, but you can probably presume that if he's not here, he's probably working, and he's probably up on the main deck.
All right. Well, do I know much about Book's work habits? Is he the kind of person who wouldn't want to be disturbed at work?
Yes, you know
I'll
that
leave him alone.
Book is a very intense and secretive person.
Yeah, and especially in my condition, I'm not going to bother with it. So
Okay.
I'll probably, if I have work to do, I'll do my work. If I don't have work to do, I'm going to go to my cabin and hit the sack.
Okay, sounds good. When you get to the deck, it seems like everything is pretty much in order. So Pole goes to take a short nap. All right, Finn, you are seeking out Agni, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as you get to Agni, you see that he is busy in the lower deck and he is taking stock of everything. Especially since you have just recently had shore leave, everything's been replenished and he is making a count of everything that's been moved onto the ship. He says, "Master Finn, what is it that I can do for you?"
I was reviewing some of the nice notes and reviews that we got from everyone here on the ship, and I have a feeling that I might have a connection with someone that they might have been in the same village as me, small world and such. Do you know of who, and do you know of on the ship? Is there a way on the ship to know of who's been where? Like if some people been in Saltmarsh, some people aren't from Saltmarsh, things like that.
He shakes his head. He says, "There is no official documentation of where and who is from where. That sort of information is often kept private. I do know that if you are wondering if any of the crewmates might have a warrant out on them or be the unsavory folk, I can guarantee you that they are not. I have checked before we've left to ensure that there are no outstanding bail or any kind of issues of crime. But the only way to know where anyone here is from is to speak with them, unfortunately."
That's fine. Well, I mean, you put me a bit at ease. That we don't have anyone on here that has had criminal history of, well, has there been?
I can't speak to criminal history, but no one has any outstanding warrants.
Okay, well, I'll give benefit of the doubt for now then on that. Well, thank you. I was just trying to see if anyone, more or less, I was trying to see if anyone was near the salt marshes where I was, where I grew up. So, I'll just give a walk around and find out, I suppose.
If it is all right for me to speak freely,
Sure.
I hope that you are not looking for any kind of ill judgment on anyone. It is very likely that we have people on the crew that have criminal backgrounds, but just because someone is a criminal doesn't mean that they aren't worthy to be here.
To be fair, I'm not really thinking anyone here is a bad person. I have a lot of evidence to suspect that someone may have experienced something that I have, and I'm just looking for more information on them. It's nothing that I think that I have no evidence right now to think that they're a bad person at all. I'm not looking for any ill intent from anyone.
I see.
I'm just very surprised by something I was given.
Would you like me to keep an ear out for something in particular? Would that be of any help to you?
If you've heard anyone say anything about the town of, if I can read it real quick, Ulick, that would be appreciated.
Okay. I will keep that in mind.
All right, thank you. And then he'll sort of, I guess, just walk off.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before we make landfall and take our break?
Yes.
Okay. KayBee.
So, with Quick in tow, Quick carrying a tray with tea, I head to the captain's room, knock on the door.
Okay.
Captain,
Yeah.
I got something for you.
All right. Well, you can come in.
So we walk in. Quick is carrying this tray of tea. Captain, I know you had a little bit. I think you had some to drink last night. You should try some of this tea. It's really good. It helps me with a hangover. It's from cave mushrooms and swamp moss. It'll just knock that hangover right out of you.
Cave mushrooms and swamp moss. Interesting. She takes a cup. I didn't drink really much at all, and I'm definitely not hungover, but I'm intrigued. I think Paul's the one who possibly really needs this. She's gonna sniff it. How does it smell?
So I think it sounds very aromatic. Smells like probably swamp or moss peat.
Mm-hmm.
It's got this real pungent smell. It's acquired taste, really. It's really, really good for you.
Yeah, that smells very acquired. I'm gonna let it cool off just a little bit, and then
okay.
I'll take some sips.
More importantly, you see, I got this book tucked under my arm. I'm bringing it around. There's these letters that we found in Kaladek's tower, and I was looking at it, and it's all written in Infernal. And I thought if I translate this, you probably want to take a look and see what he's talking about. I don't know if anybody can read Infernal, but I got my spell book, and I can do a comprehend languages spell. So maybe we should look at this together. See what his papers talk about.
Yeah, let's
So
see.
I spread out Kaladek's papers on the table.
Okay. So this was an infernal book. Help me jog my memory, please. Infernal
It was
letters.
loose
Okay.
Letters. Yeah, letters.
Okay. This was
So
in his room.
I cast a comprehend languages ritual.
Okay. So what does this look like as you cast this?
Yeah. So being a ritual, I read it right from the spell book. And there's a lot of going back and forth. This is a brand new spell book, but it looks like it's been dropped in the mud and it's been soaked with salt water. And some of the ink is running, but still it's a brand new book. wizardry is kind of new for KayBee. He's been an artificer forever. So he flips open the book. Some of the pages are stuck together. He spreads them out. And he's like, keeps referring back to the book as he's casting this spell, making symbols in the air and speaking arcane words.
Okay. So as you are reading them, you get the sense that these are coded transcripts and also correspondence between, like, business correspondence. They are deals. They are essentially logs of bartering. And you very quickly discover that this is evidence of smuggling. It seems that Kaladek has his hands in working with a number of different sources. The names are unknown to you, and just the nature of it, you are both smart enough to figure out that they are probably code names or fake names. No one's really incriminated here directly. And Kaladek's own name isn't on here either. You find a different name, but it's repeated enough that you're able to kind of piece together that this is probably meant to be Kaladek's pen name. And it is Gamothil.
Interesting.
I am very excited to get back to Saltmarsh now and have a very interesting conversation with the council about their wizard.
Yeah, they kept defending him, saying that there was no proof.
And now we have a little bit of proof, and he also kidnapped one of our party again, so...
Good job, Captain. I knew you had it in you.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without the help of my crew.
Okay. So as the scene fades to black, we see the sea lily pushing out onto the ocean, approaching a lighthouse. And that is where we're going to take our break. We will be back in about 5 minutes. Please join us in doing some stretching and grabbing a snack, and be right back. So we see the ship kind of coming to a slow stop in the distance of a small island that has a lighthouse on it. And you see that the shore would be best approached by a rowboat. So a rowboat is prepared for the party, and you are all lowered down into it. As you are approaching the island, you all start a conversation about what you should name the baby owlbear. There's a poll in chat right now. If you want to vote, please feel free to do so. It will be a 10-minute poll. And for some reason, the party can't decide right now about what to name the owlbear. But as you are approaching this island, you make landfall. And as you approach, you see this red and yellow bricked building, and it is very akin to a tower. There's a massive sea salt baked door made of like thick mahogany that greets you. And you find that this particular island is quite small. There's not much else here other than this ship and then the small dock that you've landed on. What would you like to do? It is very clear that this is part of the Mariners Guild. It bears the crest that you have seen outside of the guild hall. And you know that you are here to speak to Major Ursa, who has more information about Abbey Island.
Okay. Arlen will lead the party off the ship, telling Imloth to just kind of keep everybody ready. She doesn't know how long this will last. But could you remind us how far away is the infected island from the lighthouse?
So you know it's only slightly further up, and I will go ahead and show it to you on the map here. So the party is currently here at the lighthouse now. Oops. Oops. There you go. Okay. So you've made it out from Saltmarsh, and Abbey Island is only about an hour away.
Okay.
So you're closer to Abbey Island than you were Saltmarsh.
Okay. As we step off, Arlen will turn to Finn. Did you figure anything out about who wrote that note?
Had Finn bumped into Garen at this point yet?
Up to you.
You're all together
I meant-
now.
Oh, we're all
Yeah.
together now. Did you
Yeah.
share the info with me then, Garen?
No, let's
Okay,
let's share
fine.
now.
Oh, okay.
The best I've been able to find out is that Tully, Tama, and Mela, as well as Agni, are for sure not from Saltmarsh.
Okay.
Silos, Digby, Zarek, and Simona are native to Saltmarsh. The rest, I don't know.
Okay. Well, that gives us full people to work with then.
Yes. With
Okay.
others that are questionable. And
So-
Simona gave me an idea that people would be more willing to open up after some sort of a social event. Like
Okay.
a party or a competition.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do
I don't know
Maybe-
that we'll have time for a party in between here and getting to the island infected with undead.
True.
I don't know how long this is going to take. If you want to stay at the ship and do something and investigate further, you can do that, and the rest of us can take care of talking to this Ursa. But totally your decision.
any information about that island I want to know. Do you think, Arlen, that between now and Abbey Island, do we really need to find out who it is, or do you think on the way back from Abbey Island we can find out who it is?
I would prefer to find out before.
Okay.
If there is some sort of trap or anything lying for you at Abbey Island from this organization, then whoever is working with them could attack the others of the ship while we're away, potentially, if they have bad intentions.
Well,
Yes, I agree with Arlen. It's wise to be cautious.
all right.
And
well,
I can find out very easily who did it,
Yes,
but
you said
again,
would
it will be very public.
all right. Well, I trust all of you would let me know if there's any crucial information from the light post. I think maybe I'll go back and stay in the ship and sort of talk with people.
Garen, I know that you were working on this investigation as well. If you want to help Finn, feel free, or you can come with us.
It's up to you, Finn. This
I'll take the help, but I'm not going to stop you if you want to also go assist everyone else.
I'm just not sure how much help I could be. The crew is mildly untrusting of me, except for a handful.
I mean, I can try it on my own. If you feel more comfortable going with the lighthouse, it's fine.
No, I think I'll stay here. If there is someone here who means you harm, outing them may cause issue.
Okay.
What are your orders, Captain?
Well, it sounds like the rest of us are going to go question this Ursa while Finn stays and tries to figure this out.
Okay. So KayBee, Pull, and Arlen, you take the robo out to this island and you find a big mahogany door.
I think Garen's coming too.
No, Garen.
Oh,
said he was
stay
gonna stay
here.
on the boat.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, got
Yep.
it.
As you knock on the door, you find that it's not locked, but you're not greeted by anybody. As you enter in, you can find a pretty cozy interior. There's a fire lit on the ground floor, a table, and what is essentially a side room that you presume to be a bedroom of some kind. This is definitely meant to live maybe 1 or 2 people. It doesn't seem to be a substantial dwelling. And you find a pair of stone stairs that wind up to the head of the lighthouse. You don't find anyone on the ground floor.
So nobody in the bedroom?
No. As
Okay.
you look, if you enter into the bedroom, it's not locked. And
Arlen would have just knocked.
yeah, if you knock, there's no answer.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably pretty safe to assume that whoever lives here that maintains the lighthouse probably does not get a lot of visitors.
Yeah. All right, up to the light we go.
Okay. As you begin to crest the top of the stairs, you see that there's an individual reading a book. They're seated at a pretty simple wooden chair with their feet up on the stone ledge. You see a human man with a huge barrel chest. You see a bright red beard and a circlet of thin red-gray hair on his balding head. He's wearing a gaudy red and yellow kilt, and he seems to have removed his belt, which is on the ground next to him, laden with a warhammer and a dagger. With his legs up on the edge of the balcony here, you can see that he has these very sturdy, stocky, hairy legs. And you basically see like up to mid-thigh here, because his kilt is like folded up a little bit. He turns his head and looks to the group of you, looks you up and down. Hello, I wasn't expecting company. Who might you be?
Well, I mean, we did have a large ship coming this way for a while, but that's fine if you didn't notice. I am Arlen Ruvalaf, captain of the Sea Lily. We've been charged by the Council of Saltmarsh to go to Abbey Island and rid it of the various undead that currently plague it. We thought we would stop by, ask you some questions, try to get a better understanding of the island itself.
Oh, very good. He closes his book very carefully and sits up. He holds his hand out to you, Arlen, because you spoke first, and he offers it in a gesture of welcome.
Arlen shakes it.
Okay. His ham is very meaty and warm, and it's, despite the cold air here on the top of the lighthouse, he seems to have a heat to him, and he offers his hand out towards Pole and KayBee as well.
Paul will shake his hand heartily. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Did you say this guy's a dwarf?
No, this is a
Human.
huge barrel-chested human.
I'm
Very
Paul
nice.
of Ammonfort.
Pleased to meet you. My name is Major Ursa.
Oh, Major, that sounds like really important. High rank. Hi, I'm Knight KayBee. Kiss me, Bright Bloom.
Pleasure to meet you. Well, I suppose I'll get right to it. I'll tell you what I know about Abbey Isle. There haven't been very many ships heading in this direction, so I wish you the best of luck. I'll try to give you as much as I can. The only safe place to get ashore of the reef-ringed, rocky little island is a large sandy beach known as the Skull Dunes. The dunes are full of undead because the clerics of the Abbey created an army of skeletons to guard the beach. The skeletons lie under the sand and attack anyone that comes near.
All right. How many skeletons are we talking? Do you have any idea?
I haven't the faintest clue. All I know is of what has been reported by the scouts, and those that managed to get away left before they could get a head count.
Why would those priests in that place do that? I mean, which major power do they worship?
It's not quite sure. What we know is that there was a force of pirates that contested the island with the clerics. We aren't quite sure who won, but someone did. And the pirates got ashore somehow. There's probably a path through the undead, but finding it is the problem. We didn't catch up with the pirates until after they'd left the island. And none of them would confess. They'd taken as good as they gave. They were a miserable, sorry lot when we attacked and routed what was left of them. One shipload escaped, but we sank the others. The sea and sharks got the survivors, so we never really got a first-hand account of what happened on the island or how the pirates got through the dunes.
Alright, and what about the rest of the island? What do you know?
The abbey is the primary structure there. Who knows for sure what happened there, though? We never got anywhere near the place. Smoke rose from the island for days after the pirates attacked. Maybe that means the island's been abandoned, or maybe the abbey burned and the clerics are waiting to rebuild. I don't know. That is what you've been hired to find out.
What is the history of that place before?
We know that there was an abbey and clerics were there. But
How long ago was this?
pretty recent. Probably over the last 5-10 years.
And nobody knows anything about this island from before all this happened?
Mm-mm.
That's strange.
Strange. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Very
KayBee.
strange.
Alright. So is there anything else you know that could help us? I've heard various other expeditions have come trying to rid the island. You aren't that far away. Were you able to see anything?
No. They couldn't get past the beach. But, if you require escape, they don't seem to be leaving the island. So once you make it off the shore, you should be alright. If you need to retreat. And if you need to mend your wounds, you're welcome here. I don't have a lot of supplies. And this is never really a triage, but it could be in a pinch.
It's helpful to know.
DM, out of
Yeah.
character,
Mhm.
KayBee had spent years in Grodswell, a major shipping town, a major port here on the Azure Sea. And being as such, does he have some knowledge, some history knowledge of any churches that could be operating here? Sounds like it would be pretty exclusive. Somebody who's, if people don't know, can't talk about the Abbey before, maybe there's something that's a little less common.
Yeah, this is really obscure. It's a very small island. Major Ursa goes on to tell you that the isle itself is only 1 mile wide and 2 miles long. So it makes sense that it's gone kind of unnoticed for quite some time. There are a lot of islands off the coast of Saltmarsh, and this is just one of them. And the Mariners Guild wants to build a lighthouse on this island, which is why we've discovered it just recently. Since they don't really know anything about the clerics other than they seem to have a presence or had a presence, there's no other information. You don't have any sigils, any names whatsoever. The investigations that have gone on so far have literally only been towards the shoreline. So we're hoping that you can find something more.
Well, I can guarantee you will get past the shore, at the very least.
I've heard that before. I hope you're right.
Do either of you have questions? And she'll look towards Paul and KayBee. but she's kind of given up and doesn't think this person actually knows anything.
Yeah, you get the sense that he doesn't really have a reason to hold anything back. He pretty much just gave you everything he knows.
Well, you did say there was like one approach to the island that was the best place to land, though, right?
Yes, you'll find that the isle is surrounded by rocky shoals. The only real way to approach it is from the southern end. You'll find a sandy beach, which will gradually take you up to the isle.
I'm sure you probably got some nautical maps. Can you show us the local maps? To show us
Yes.
where those reefs are?
Join me downstairs. I can show you a look. Give you a look.
Captain, we should peek at these maps and see if there's any place else local that somebody might be hiding.
So he shows you a map. And this map is a very small place. You see that there are rocky shoals all around, as he said, and there is a crumbling granite cliff that rises all the way around. And he points to the southern tip here and says, this is where the best approach would be. The only approach, truly. So he tells you that you should try to maneuver your ship around the southern end, approach through there, make your way through the dunes, and then head further inland.
But the skeletons are under the sand in the dunes, right?
Aye.
All right. So what's it? So the scale of this? Are these like 5-foot squares?
They are not 5-foot squares. So the island,
Thinking.
it's essentially like 1 mile wide and 2 miles long.
All right, that makes more sense. So that's a long way.
Oh, it
through the
says
sand dunes.
1 square is 500 feet.
500 feet. Okay.
So just for like information above game and in the game, like the map would be very rough. It wouldn't be as like detailed as this. This is just for the player knowledge, but the picture is essentially what he shares with you.
And what is this in the middle? Is that like ruins or something?
That is player knowledge.
I think that's the Abbey, but yeah, we don't know that.
Yeah. So he just shows you like a rough image of the island. It's presumed that an abbey is in the heart of it. So this is the approximate location, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get this all cleared.
All right, well, good luck. And if you run into any trouble, you're welcome back here. What did you say your names were again?
I'm Arlen Ruvelath, captain of the Sea Lily.
KayBee.
Pole of Ammonfoot.
Good to meet you. Good luck. And he holds the door open for you to leave.
Anything suspicious about this guy?
Go ahead and roll me insight checks. 13 from KayBee.
It's him. He's killing everyone.
You didn't open his bedroom door. You will never know their secrets. 13 from Pole and a 12 from Arlen. From what you can glean, he seems pretty upfront. He hasn't really held anything back. He's answered pretty earnestly. You get the sense that you can probably trust what he's been saying. He's definitely an experienced individual, and you can see hanging on the walls of the lower floor that there are numerous medals and commendations. You can tell that this man has had a very long history with the Mariners Guild. And he has a professional air about him.
Okay. Then we will start heading down the stairs and back towards the ship.
Sounds good. Meanwhile, on the ship, Garen and Finn, you have some time. We'll say that it's only about an hour between when they get back, and then there's another hour of departing to head towards Abbey Island. I do want to kind of montage this so we can move forward.
Mhm.
Essentially, you'll have time to talk to like one person. Is there anyone specific you want to talk to?
Do we know of any of them that are? Could we look at like a record or something to see who's on shift, who's off shift, or
Well, everyone's on ship right now.
are they okay?
Here is the crew list if it helps.
Yeah. And
Bull wants to talk to Book.
yeah.
Okay.
Malaya is not from Saltmarsh. Tama and Tully, you already spoke with Agni. And then Fidelity, Book, and what else was it?
Ragnhild.
Ragnhild. Yep. Those three are unknown if they're from Saltmarsh or not.
Well, let's stick with the ones we do know who are from Saltmarsh, since I don't know how much time they're gonna have on all that. Let's try and find Digby, unless that
Okay.
might be an okay start. No?
So
No.
you find
Digby's
Digby.
native. Digby's
Hmm?
native.
Yeah, I know.
Digby's Saltmarsh. Okay.
Yep, I'm from Saltmarsh.
Oh, I thought you were from outside of Saltmarsh.
No.
Okay.
So as you head over towards Digby, you see that he's in the mess hall right now. You know that Digby is a chronic slacker. When he has the right motivation, he works pretty well, but he definitely takes many breaks, as many as he can, and needs supervision. You find Digby is currently has his feet up, and he's sipping on some soup.
Digby, you got a second?
Oh, yes. Hello, Garen, Finn. How are you going? I thought that you would be joining the shore party.
They said that they could handle it, the three of them, so we decided to just kind of stay back here. I just have a quick question for you. Have you ever heard of a town in Saltmarsh called Ulick?
Ulick. Just to let you know, above character, Ulick isn't a town. It's a country.
Oh, country. Oh.
Yeah, Saltmarsh is a small village in Kjoland. Yeah.
Oh. I thought it was in Saltmarsh.
It's another country.
Oh.
So that would mean that you're not native to Saltmarsh.
Okay.
Do we want to backtrack a little bit?
A little bit, because I
Okay.
wanted to be in when I was trying to find a town, I wanted to be in a town in Saltmarsh.
Okay, yeah, we can just change that. So instead of being from Ulick, you're from another town in Kjoland, because Saltmarsh is a town.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're from a adjacent place here. So we'll figure out the name off screen. But
we'll just say the name for the time.
Digby says, I haven't quite traveled outside of Saltmarsh, but I have heard of it. Why do you ask?
It's sort of come to my attention that I'm thinking that someone on the crew, the whole, it's a small world after all sort of thing, may have actually lived or been near my town at one point where I grew up.
Oh.
And so I just want to meet and connect and see what stories they have. And so, because we got all the comic cards, which a lot of us really enjoyed and were happy with. So, yeah, just interesting find.
Well, I can tell you that Silos and Zarek, Simona, Imloth, we are all from Saltmarsh, so they might have visited wherever you're from, but they're not from there. I grew up with them. You might want to speak to Fidelity? I think Fidelity's not from Saltmarsh.
Okay. All right. Then I suppose I will do that then.
Well, hold on. Why exactly do you want to speak to them? I'm curious. I could use a bit of entertainment.
Well, I mean, there isn't much more to say other than we're reading through all the different comment cards and reactions and gradings and whatever you want to call them. There was just a word or a phrase that was sort of found in a note that made me think, oh, maybe they know of my town, and so.
Can I see it?
Well, I don't.
I think that's a little private.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, that's why I asked, right? I'll respect your privacy. He kind of like moves his spoon around idly in his soup. All right. I didn't mean to ruffle any feathers. There's just not much going on right now.
Yeah, I know. No worries. No.
It's not like we can start a wager or a bet. Captain will be back on the ship anytime soon, so no naked racing until later.
No, I wouldn't suggest it. No, by the time you had it all organized, Arlen will be back.
Yeah, well, sorry, I can't be of any more help. I mean, if you feel like, at any point, no pressure, you feel like sharing, I can maybe be a little more helpful.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I appreciate all the help you could give me.
And then he like slurps his soup very slowly and loudly. All right. Well, have a nice day.
You as well.
And then after they leave the mess hall, Garen will say, half the ship will know we talked what we asked him within 5 minutes of us walking out this door.
This is why I don't like to pick people.
You found the gossip.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't. I mean, I was trying to avoid Arlen's way of it, because if something bad has happened, Garen, to them as well, I don't want them to feel ostracized or have to feel like they have to come out, because it's not easy for me to talk about it, let alone anyone else who might have dealt with something.
I can imagine.
So,
but as Arlen said, if it is not someone who was traumatized, but who did the traumatizing, we need to out them so that we can prevent them from harming anyone else.
Since we already picked the gossip, do you just want to wait until Arlen gets back and just be like, let her do her thing?
Suppose we may have to.
Okay.
All right.
So the shore party returns. And by the time that you get onto the boat, the ship begins to immediately set sail for Abbey Island. And Imloth tells you, Captain, it'll be about an hour before we reach a reasonable distance from Abbey Isle. From the map and information you've given me, it seems that a southern approach will be most appropriate, and that perhaps we should keep out of the bay. We don't want to run ashore or suffer any kind of hull damage.
That's correct.
Captain, do you have any strategies for us? Like maybe you want to approach at night instead?
At night, I think that would only benefit the undead. Make it harder to see them and keep an eye out. So I think during the day is probably best. As we get closer, I may have different strategies for how to get onto the island than just rushing on the beach that's filled with undead, but I'll have to get a better lay of the land.
We'll say that about 15 minutes from reaching Abbey Island.
Oh, can I do something?
Yes.
Do Finn and Garen tell Arlen and fill her in about everything?
Yeah. I'd say
Probably
we
when
do.
you get back, yeah.
And do you say that you're gonna leave it up to her approach?
We are gonna go with we're gonna say we're gonna leave it up to you. We think the person we talked to has probably already talked to half the crew about it at this point.
Okay.
So
All right. Arlen is going to ask Imloth to gather the crew.
Okay. Yes, Captain, of course. I'll have everyone meet you on the main deck.
All right. Thank you.
And they are.
All right, everyone. In the name of giving you all the opportunity to give things private, we received your reviews. We were overjoyed. Thank you so much for doing that. But also, in those reviews, there were some secret messages thrown at a few of us. I have a way of finding out who sent those messages, but I do not want to out you publicly. So over the next 30 minutes as we're traveling and getting closer to the island, if you would like to tell us that it was you, then please approach us privately and let us know. But if not, as we get closer to the island, I will employ methods of finding out who it was. No one's in trouble. We are just very, very curious and would like to know.
As you say this, you see Digby kind of like nudging people and be like, yeah, I told you about this. I told you. I knew it was going to happen. And so there's a look of like concern, of curiosity over the crowd, and the crowd kind of disperses over time. And Arlen, about 15 minutes from reaching Abbey Island, someone begins to make their way towards you. You see you see Ragnhild, the dwarf. This individual has coppery hair, has an even tanned complexion. They say, Captain, of what you were saying earlier, I have been kind of back and forth about whether or not I should come forward, and I just want you to know that it was my way of trying to see who Finn Carson might be.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, I was there. I presume you are speaking of the symbol.
I was.
The skull and the undead. Yes, I was there that night. But I did not recognize Finn.
Really? You would have been much younger.
Aye, that I presume. Which is why I wanted to test him. I wanted to see how he would react. I will admit that I did not expect such an outward approach, but it seems that I am without option. I do not want you to harass anyone else on the ship, and I don't mean it in any ill way. I am frightened. It was a massacre.
That is what I hear. I apologize for forcing this discussion in such a way, but seeing that we were heading to an island of undead, and what I've heard of the situation that happened that night, we needed to find out who it was and whether it was someone working with that group or someone that perhaps simply knew what had happened. But
No, I understand, and I apologize for being so cryptic. I just wasn't sure.
I am curious. Do you know what that symbol is?
I do not. I was hoping to find out what Finn knows before we get to Abbey Isle, so it seems that perhaps we have similar interests here. I have reason to believe that they might be connected, the Isle, the symbol, but I don't have any proof other than my gut feeling.
Can I insight check?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no!
That's a nat one!
Oh,
Oh no.
Oh, you're
No
out of
adventures
rerolls.
left.
Okay, great. He seems pretty earnest. Like, he came up to you, he confessed, and he opened up to you. They kind of nod towards you and they say, well, I will do whatever I can to help. If you want me to go with you or if you want me to stay.
Right. How about I arrange for you and Finn to meet before we get to the Isle? And you both can talk.
Fair
And then
enough.
we'll see from there.
Very good. And we kind of cut forward, and Finn and Ragnhild are in a private conversation. They clear out the mess hall, and the two of you are sitting down. And Ragnhild begins to tell you their account of what happened. As a dwarf, they are longer lived than you, and it seems that they were probably around, like, the equivalent of 20, 30 years old as a human when you were a young child. So they tell you things that you perhaps did not see or you did not know. And from the information that Ragnhild gives you, it seems pretty accurate. At the very least, you get the impression Ragnhild was there.
I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad.
They started with the blacksmith, the edge of town.
Oh, that
They-
poor man.
They made their way inwards. They took down every building.
I tried to research as much as I could, but you know, when things get destroyed, you can only find so many records.
It's true. Have you been back?
No. Well, sort of. I sort of came back near town when I met up with the crew that I'm with now. And then we've kind of found our way out this way, but I've not actually been back to town.
It's still empty.
I always wondered. What brought you? Well, have you lived there ever since? I thought I was the only one who survived.
People were scattered. Here and there. I don't know how many survivors there are, but there are very, very few. I don't know anyone else. I found my way to Saltmarsh, and I've been here since.
How were you? From everything Arlen tells me, you kind of possibly recognized me. How did you know to leave that note for me? How did you know that I would possibly recognize that symbol?
It was a gamble. I wanted to be sure. I thought I recognized your face.
Yeah.
You remind me of your father.
Yeah. I tried to be as at least as smart as he was.
Well, you are running a fine crew.
I appreciate that. Well, I'm glad to know someone else survived and knows how bad a swarm can be. I have to say, and I haven't told anyone else in the crew this, I've been really nervous about going to this island. Like, excited, because I feel like we'll be taking down sort of a chunk of what's going on. But I also fear that like this is going to be the first big horde that I've really had to see since then.
Well, you do not have to go alone. If you want me to go with you, then at least whatever you face, you will be with someone who has seen it with you. But I don't mean to pressure. Whatever is comfortable for you. I can stay here if you prefer that.
Talk it over with everyone else, but whatever, if you have any valuable insight or whatever you can bring for us, if it can give us an extra advantage, you have to bring everything you can, especially if it's going to be a giant horde or, God forbid, a really big monster. You have to bring everything you've got. Let me talk with the crew really quick before we finalize who's going where, but
Well, what I remember is fire and sharp weapons. Maybe a
Okay.
bludgeoning tool or two. That's the only advice that I can give. That's how I got out.
yeah, I do remember reading about fire, sharp objects, and that's kind of like brings over Dwayne a little bit. He's like, I've been really lucky to find this magical friend.
Well, good luck. I await your decision. Speak with your friends.
I shall.
And he leaves you.
And Finn will just kind of sit there, really like still nervous about everything that's going to happen, whether we bring whoever or not. He'll give one big sigh, grab a hold of his necklace, and then he'll walk to the crew.
Okay. This will be the last scene before we make landfall on Abbey Isle. What do you want to do? What do you want to say?
I'm blanking on his name now. I'm sorry.
Ragnhild?
Ragnhild. Okay. Well, Ragnhild shared a lot of info with me about what had happened, more than I'd even known of what happened in my village when it was sort of destroyed. He feels like he can bring some knowledge and help us. And the one thing I do know when it comes to these creatures, these swarm, you have to bring everything you have to defeat them. If he can be valuable, I think we could bring him with me. I don't know what value. He gave us big information, fire and such, but if he can do any more, I think he'd be a good choice to bring with us. But I didn't want to make a decision without everyone else is okay.
Well, I would personally rather have him with us where I can watch him in case there is anything suspicious than with the crew where I can't watch him and don't know what he's doing.
Okay. Are we all in agreement then? We're bringing him with us.
I agree with Arlen.
I don't see no reason why not.
That's good.
Okay.
We'll leave Quick here in the boat.
Okay.
All right. So the group of you hop onto the rowboat with Ragnhild. Ragnhild is equipped in leather armors and has a short sword and a crossbow.
Ooh.
So as you head onto the ship, we are going to play a mini game.
Oh dear.
Mini game.
Is the title of it How Badly Can We Fail?
It's called Whack-a-Skelly.
The isle is small, only about a mile wide and 2 miles long. You see sea-battered, crumbling granite cliffs, almost entirely surrounded by dangerous rocky shoals. Waves crash over jagged rocks, making it obvious that this was truly the only way to approach without disaster. As you are approaching the Skull Dunes, bloop, Map.
I wonder what the rest of the island looks like.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder.
I like that little skull in the dunes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
stay
just
away from
painted
that
it.
one.
Yeah. Do you want to go there?
No.
I want everyone to roll
No.
me a 1d20.
I'm not.
There's
scared.
one thing I did want Paul to do while we're in the boat on the way there.
Yeah, what's up?
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to spend his 10 minutes inspiring everybody and talking them all up like he likes to do.
Yeah.
And getting everyone excited about how we can't be stopped. And these dead guys, they don't even know what it's like to be alive anymore, so they probably can't figure out what we're doing.
I love it. Are you playing a jaunty tune as you're doing
Yep.
this?
Yes.
Mhm.
Amazing. Could I get a d20 from you as well, please? We got a 6 from Arlen, a 7 from Garen,
This is
3
great.
from Finn and KayBee, and a 9 from Pole. Congratulations,
Low
Pole.
nines
Mine
is
was
what
the
we wanted,
best.
right?
Yeah.
That's sad rolling.
You win,
Yeah.
Pole. And what you win, you get to be the token.
Oh.
Aw, I wanted to be the token.
Well, you should have rolled better.
Do some token on your own time.
Ha ha hee hee. Okay, so with this, you find that the Skull Dunes are a beach of coarse brown sand. You see dunes as far as the eye can see are desolate, and only an occasional bit of scraggly grass grows here and there in the sandy hollows. You see the hills of sand are smooth and trackless. Loose sands make for difficult terrain. You will need someone to guide you through the dunes. You must pick one person to lead the way, and you will follow in a line.
Could I ask 2 questions? Well, 1 question and 1 statement.
Mhm.
Well, I guess 2 questions. How high are the cliffs or whatever that are covering the rest of the island's exterior besides the dunes?
We're gonna say super high, like 100 feet or something. I don't know.
Okay, so you very much like, please don't go that way, Emma.
Yeah, please
Okay,
don't throw away
okay.
my minigame, Emma.
Okay, then I will not. But I think very clearly it is Garen that should lead us.
Yeah. Is there ever any questions?
Okay. Well, in order to play our mini game, essentially, I will need you to roll me either survival or no, it has to be perception, I believe. Roll me a perception check, and the number. Fuck. Hold on. I didn't write it down because, like, oh, this is so simple. Like, I'm gonna remember this. What the shit? Okay, roll me a perception check while I look it up.
Perception is 24.
Wow. Okay. All right. Perception check. The check result is a number of squares along the path that you travel. After that many squares, you stumble onto a randomly determined square. Okay. God. All right. 24 spaces. So you are
Cross.
leading. Maybe. Hold on. Wow.
Yeah, it's 11 across, I think.
Well, the path is the safe path, right?
Yeah.
Is 21. So you've literally just
Aw.
broken my game. You're too good. Okay, but go ahead and roleplay this for us. Like, you see that the dunes are very precarious. Actually, I'm gonna count it as half because this is difficult terrain.
Okay.
Okay, so you get
You're
to
like-
about here. So I'll show you the path that you take. You are kind of guiding everyone through the path here. Describe this to me. It's all sand.
Yeah, I'd say Garen, it's the sun's out, lights are reflecting off the sand, and he's shading his eyes, and he's probably just seeing like areas that are duller, and that's how he knows which way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
what?
How do you shade your eyes if you don't have a shadow?
Oh,
Fuck, you're right.
You don't have a shadow. That's right.
And so not even a hat would help him.
No, I wouldn't.
That shit. Garen's just squinting into the light. But he's just that perceptive. He can see, the valleys between the dunes, and he can see where they're going, even in the bright light, and he's working his way through.
Okay, so as the group of you are moving through here and you're going through the safe path, you find great confidence in following Garen, definitely heading the right way. You see skeletons roaming in the distance, but you maneuver a path deftly enough that so far you haven't discovered any in close proximity. However, I need you to roll me a 1d8. I'm going to be so fucking happy if you roll an 8. What?
Is this just Garen?
Yeah, just Garen.
3.
Okay. So you end up here. So, God, we don't have enough time for it today. But, so as you're kind of moving through, is anyone doing anything special?
Mm,
Observing the sand, looking for telltale signs where there may be skeletons hiding in the dunes. If there's a tell.
Okay, roll me a perception check. 11. It's really hard to tell. There are very many there are very many dunes kind of strewn about you, and the sand is so loose that it seems as the wind blows, the terrain is likely to change quite often. You see skeletons definitely have a presence in the distance, and as you're looking at the ground, there are patches of grass here and there, and perhaps following some of that guarantees that there will not be skeletons underfoot, but it is quite random. There's no deliberate path carved out for you, so it's not really helpful. As setting up something, don't worry about it.
I'm worried about it.
Let me move.
Oh boy.
Okay. As Garen is guiding you through the dunes here, kind of squint up, and you take a moment to gather your bearings. Oh, hold on. I have to remove Penny from the map because Penny's not here.
Just killing Andy.
Sorry. Hee hee hee. All right. You find yourselves between a number of dunes here. Map. Cooperate. Come to a stop. KayBee, as you are looking around, that 11 perception, the hairs on the back of your neck rise, but you don't see anything. You're muted.
It looks dangerous. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What do you want to do?
We had
Garen.
an indication that there was, if we walk through the sand, then skeletons might come out and try and grab us from underneath, right?
Yeah.
So Paul would like to make an illusion It's a major image. It's tactile and everything. Sound, smell, the works. Of some people going forward in front of us about, I don't know, 30 feet. And see if
Okay.
anything attacks them.
Hmm.
It's the major image spell.
Okay. Can you describe to me what this looks like as you're casting it?
Yeah. He actually makes hand motions as if he's sculpting little people out of clay. And then when he places them, they go to the real location where he means them to go. So he kind of tosses them out and they'll appear 30 feet ahead. And then they start walking and talking and cracking jokes and everything.
Okay. As that happens, you all witness as all of a sudden, erupting from the sand, 8 skeletons
Whoa.
burst
Oh,
out
what?
and they claw themselves out of these holes in the sand. And they begin to try to attack the illusion. I need everyone to select their token and roll for initiative.
Bink.
Oh my god. With advantage, I roll a 2. Nice.
Nice.
I'm going to use my blessing on this.
Okay, sounds good.
Getting near the end of the night.
Hmm.
That's better.
Okay. Oh no, I didn't clear the turn order. Hold on. One sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Paul rolled a 19. Arlen rolled a 2. KayBee rolled a 20. Garen rolled 20. Finn rolled 10. All right. Fuck.
Mm.
Wait, why is only some of them showing up? Okay. Fuck. Ugh. One sec. Okay.
You just need us to roll again?
It's fine actually, because what I was gonna say was so as like the group of you see the skeletons come up, how are you reacting? What's going on?
Garen fires.
You just fire? Okay.
I'm trying to use the illusion to lead them away from us to the north, I guess, or top of the map.
Okay.
So just have them run, but sort of remain out of reach of the skeletons. Just
Mhm.
close enough so that the skeletons might think they could get them.
Okay, sounds good. Finn, are you doing anything in particular?
Just holding on to Dwayne and then kind of noticing. Paul's kind of waiting to see what happens, and then Finn's gonna also wait to see if what's gonna happen with skeletons.
Okay. Arlen?
Arlen's getting ready to do some bullshit.
All right. And
Preparing herself.
KayBee.
Captain, should I go? I'm gonna go. Okay.
All right.
Can I go?
All right, cool. Garen, just as you're about to shoot, you feel a strange pang come over you. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
The card.
Yeah.
This one?
23.
Wow, not
Wow.
20. Okay, you shrug it off. What happened? You don't know. You rolled too high. You'll have to find out next time. But essentially, the reason it doesn't matter that the initiative populated was because that's where we're going to end our session for today. We're going to see what happens with the major illusion, the skeletons, and pushing through the skull dunes next time. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to go around real quick, and we are going to give everyone a chance to tell you who they are, where you can find them, and what their favorite part of today was. And we'll start going the other way around. Zombie.
Hello, I'm Jacob. I'm Zombie. I am Z. I am whatever those names should call me. I am the lore keeper and Captain Z of the Good Ship Clip. I probably do too many clips, but that's of your own discretion. Probably my favorite moment. I don't know, just all of the stuff we started to learn about the island before we got there. I'm kind of like learning all of the stuff. And then obviously the whole like, oh, there was somebody else in my hometown? Like what? Like that whole like mystery of like, you know, what is there more to discover? I thought I knew everything, but clearly not.
I told you that this quest was going to be relevant to you.
It was good. I enjoyed it. You can find me on Twitter at ZombieFighter89, where I will retweet Kirby stuff, D&D stuff, and then promote / retweet various projects for Stella. That is where you can find me. You can also find me in Stella's Discord. I usually hang out there most days, all day, usually. If you do follow me on Twitter, there's a little bit of a pinned tweet there. I do video editing, audio editing, Twitch clipping. If you think that I can help you in any specific way, if you're wanting any editing help and such, come contact me. I'm hireable and all of that fun jazz. And then on Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern time, I do a YouTube show called Nights in Nerdvana with B Street Holmes, who's a member of the community, Matthew, and our friend Kayla. Tomorrow, we're actually taking off, so we won't be there tomorrow, but we'll be there in 2 weeks for all kinds of nerdy fun and news.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next, we have Andy.
Hi there, I'm John. I'm also Indicarous on the internet, and I play Pole today. My favorite moment of the day was really the whole review by the crew thing. That was awesome. I thank you for the work that you put into that, Stella. And I was pretty happy that Arlen actually shared hers. I was expecting her not to, keeping it confidential. So that was cool, because none of the rest of it was confidential, really. We all just heard everybody's comments. Fortunately, they were all pretty much good comments. So that worked out well, and it was very fun, giving everyone a little bit of an idea. And I loved how you threw in the cards for the most part in that section as well at poignant points. Yeah, you can find me here on alternate Wednesdays, and where else you're going to be able to find me on the first weekend of October is at Virtual Greyhawk Con. I'm running a couple of games there, and lots of other people who are into the world of Greyhawk are going to be running games of various different editions of D&D. I'm running mine in 3.5e, but there's first edition, there's third edition, there's fifth edition, and there's people running Greyhawk games in non-D&D with non-D&D systems. All sorts of different stuff's going on. So I encourage you to show up. I'd love to have you at my table and play some games with you as the GM. But otherwise, I hope you'll just come out there and support the community.
Awesome. Thank you. Could you give me a link to that so I can drop it in the chat for everybody?
Will do.
Okay. GodfatherWraith.
Hi. You know, I'm gonna have to say that I am torn on my favorite part, because I especially loved Garen's reviews. Who is this guy? But I also enjoyed what little of the investigation for Finn and I got to do, and I would have really loved it if we'd have had time, both in game and, you know, in the game session, to really explore that. Though that could have been a lot of fun.
I will admit above game that I did want to let it go a little further on. I wanted to kind of use it as a way to get to know some of the crew members and see how they would react to that. But because the temperature of the plot and like with the party, it seemed like there was suspicion that this could harm you. And since that was like a really big threat and that would kind of play into holding back from getting to the island, I like made the decision to kind of fast forward a little bit. So we'll definitely have opportunities kind of like that and to discover more with the party, with the crew. But I felt like just as a story point that we
Yeah.
definitely wanted to make landfall during this session, so I had to speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I know it was constraints of game time in the game and playing the game that limited us on that. And I also know that having been on both the person doing the investigation and the person not doing the investigation, it tends to be boring for the people not taking part in it.
I think it was a pretty good balance, but
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. Next we have GeekDice.
I'm GeekDice, and you can find me here. Stella's Saltmarsh, that's where I live. And there was a lot of really good moments in today's session. I think a number of things that have already been mentioned, I think that touched the backstory for Finn. That was intriguing, kind of look under the lid of that narrative a little bit. The card plays and the reviews and a little bit of look at the NPCs, that was really cool. But my absolute favorite part of today is the fact that GodfatherWraith is back after not being with us a couple sessions. So that's my favorite part. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Next we have Emma.
Hi, it's me, Emma. Also known as Emma Panada. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Emma Panada. On Twitch, we have a couple D&D games going. On Twitter, I largely shitpost and troll my friends. I also am writing a TTRPG called All the Witches, so if you want more information on what that is or how that's going, you can go to twitter.com/allthewitches_. I'll be announcing the Kickstarter date in less than a month, and that's real exciting and terrifying. But yeah, I'll also be at Gen Con, and if you see me at Gen Con, I'll have stickers and various other things for it, so you can get some of those.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I loved the fucking reviews from the crew. That was just so fun. I know people have said it already, but it was just so good.
I thought it would be fun to like kind of help cement some relationships, because it's like it makes sense. Like we don't play every single hour of you being on the ship. Like their voyages take a long time, and you're in literally a confined space with other people, and like just because you don't interact with the NPCs doesn't mean they don't form a relationship with you, right? I just thought that'd be kind of fun to explore and see how it develops, because there's actually a mechanic of morale in the game, and we've been kind of using soft mechanics for that. Essentially, like what kind of decisions you make and like how you handle the crew. It all adds up, right? So far, you've been pretty reasonable. You know, the crew wants naked day, you give them naked day. You know, you let them party. It all adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's never gonna be a mutiny where someone uses Dwayne against you. Never.
No, never.
No.
But Stella, what about you?
Oh man. I just had a great time with everyone, honestly. I love the personalities of the characters here. The reviews was definitely my favorite part out of all of it. And I was really excited that we got to start on the chapter, basically. Major Ursa's pretty cool. We have a number of different maps that are going to be tied into this chapter here, and you saw 2 of them, but that's not all. And this is a really cool adventure so far, and I can't wait to show you more of it, especially with the mini game. I also kind of love-hated that Garen rolled so high on the perception thing. Like, the mini game, I could see like in an offline game, playing it the way you're supposed to play it, like could be really fun, but it gets kind of grindery. Like, you know, we have to kind of segment things so that it can be digestible in a streamed limited time setting. But damn, truly, Garen's just like, what mini game?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see more of it next time. So we'll be back here on the 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm still Luna. If this is the first time you're here, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the stream. If you'd like to catch more of this content here. You can either find our videos on YouTube or you can follow the channel. You'll get notifications for whenever we go live. And the only thing I really have to plug is on July 11 at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, it'll be the first episode of our 3-shot of Monster of the Week. It is a Korean folk legend themed game where we have a group of seniors. Sorry, they graduated high school. They are now basically freshmen in college. And it is Y2K. They are going on a Halloween trip for the very last time before they all move away. And it breaks down in the middle of nowhere near the location where one of their childhood friends disappeared without a trace. Ooh. We have an all-Asian cast for that game, and I'm super excited to bring it to you. I hope you can join us for that, if nothing else. But other than that, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Please stay safe out there, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!